Oh, okay. Hi, everyone who might be watching this. Welcome to my little studio. Today we are here for this little girl. Say hi. Hi. And if you are somehow by miracle not a member of my family or someone who knows who this is, I'll briefly explain to you that my little sister was given 2 of these bald Bratz dolls years ago. She recently found them again and asked me to customize them for her. So this is not this girl's original outfit. I think she's a Yasmin doll. I'm not sure. I'm not so familiar with Bratz. So she gave me the 2 dolls, and one of the dolls she said she wanted to be a Pan Pride doll. So that's what this little doll is going to be. As you can see, I've already made her outfit. I made this cute little sweater for her, this dress, this belt, which is a sort of pastel pan flag. My mom knit this little hat. The pattern for it, I believe she's putting up on Ravelry. If she is, I will leave a link down in the description to it, but just note that it was sized for a bald Bratz doll, but it does fit her a little bit loosely, as you can see here. So if your doll does have hair, it'll probably fit them just fine. And I made these little pins out of paper and tape. So I got a little pan heart, a little pride pin, little golden ribbon, and I also have this little guy here, a little Totoro. And I made a little shark, but I seem to have lost it. The shark of the little Totoro came off because I moved with her and she had to go through quite a lot of stress in moving. These are the boots that she came with. I just painted them. As you can see, they are also kind of a little bit worse for wear because of the moving, but you know what? It's fine. Today we are not focused on the outfit at all, although I do think it is very cute. Today we are going to be giving her finally a new face, and I am so excited because I've been waiting all summer to give her a new face, and we're finally here. So first things first is to get her undressed and to remove her original factory paint with pure acetone. Okay, so the face is removed. I am going to take the paint off the body with my non-acetone nail polish remover because the vinyl head is a lot stronger than the rubber body. So acetone is fine on the vinyl, but will melt the body. So as you can see, the pink writing that was on her back came totally off. But her panties appear to just be dyed plastic and not actually painted at all. So I guess she's keeping her panties. I'm gonna go give her a lovely little bath, and I will be back to spray her face and move on with the face up. I am back and ready to seal, and one thing you may notice is that I am not outside. And here's where I reveal my biggest doll customizing secret. I do not use MSC. I know. If you're new to doll customizing and don't know what the hell I'm talking about, MSC is the sealant of choice preferred by most doll makers for sealing the doll so that they can then draw on it. So if I took my watercolor pencils and my soft pastels right now and tried to draw on this doll, it wouldn't work. It would just slide right off the vinyl. So you have to seal it so it gives it sort of like a what a lot of doll artists call tooth, so that the pigments have something to grab onto, and also so that over time your face up doesn't just come off. I don't use MSC, and here's why. For one thing, it is toxic, although that isn't my biggest issue with it. My biggest issue with it is that you have to use it outside because of that toxicity, and it works best in mild, cool, dry weather. Now, I live in Canada, and the issue there is that for most of the year, it is either muggy and raining or it is below freezing out. And if it's muggy and raining, of course, I can't seal the doll outside because the sealant wouldn't work well. And if it's below freezing out and snowy, I don't know how I would be able to leave the doll out to dry because the sealant would just freeze. So MSC really isn't a very good option for me. So instead, I have come up with my own solution. This is my airbrush. She is how I have done 2 of my previous face ups. I mix my own doll sealant. This is my little jar of doll sealant, and in it is approximately 1 unit of matte medium and 1.5 units of airbrush medium till it is the consistency of milk. So I'm going to run some tests by running this 70% rubbing alcohol through her, which is what I use to clean her, just because I want to test how she's working. She isn't the most expensive of airbrushes, but you know what? We still love her. She's still a queen. So after taking a quick break to clean out, we can get to sealing. Alright, so the doll is all sealed, and I am back in voiceover mode, which is super weird. Anyway, so as you can see here, I am starting with blushing. So I'm using soft pastels to add some color, some color variation to her face, some redness to her cheeks, to her ears. I also love to blush over the bridge of the nose. I think it's just like super cute. And I'm also blushing around her forehead to sort of give her a bit of contouring. Here I am taking my watercolor pencils and starting to sketch in the eye shapes. And watercolor pencils, like soft pastels, they're preferred because they don't have any oils in them. And because they don't have any oils in them, it will, the face-up will remain true colors. I just want to apologize also really quick for the camera angle. I know it's not great. I will hopefully change it for the next video. Here I am starting to put some color on the lips. I'm using some pastels, some pencils to give her lip lines. Just really trying to bring out some color there. And I think here, as I'm starting to give her some eyeshadow. So I'm doing pink in her corner eyes and then yellow on the lid and blue at the outside corners of her eyes. So it's sort of like a pan flag makeup look. And this was pretty difficult because while I do like my method of sealing it works well for me, it isn't great at holding the pigments and keeping them really bright. Although from what I understand that MSC isn't necessarily super great at that either. So it takes a lot to get really bright makeup looks like that. But here, this is, I think, after the second layer of MSC. Basically, you draw until you can't build up color anymore, and then you spray again. And I'm really focusing on the eyes. I wanted to give her kind of hazel eyes, so I mixed brown and green and tried to make sort of like an ombre look. And I actually think it turned out really nice. So here I'm doing a second layer of eyeshadow. I'm drawing in the sclera, the eyeliner. Oh yeah, and here actually I'm bringing out acrylic paints to whiten the sclera because you can't really get the super white with just pencils and pastels, or at least I can't. Some people can. They're amazing. But yeah, and this is where you see me being just like the most impatient doll painter coming in because I'm on, I think, the second max third layer of sealant and I'm already breaking out the acrylic paints. Like, usually you don't have to be like this, but I am like this a little bit. And so yeah, I painted in the eyes, and here I decided to paint the lips sort of like baby pink. Yeah, giving her highlights and shadows because that's really the crux of it, is making the highlights lighter and the shadows darker with every layer once you have your colors sort of laid out so that it looks, really sort of realistic, or as realistic as a doll can look. I did try to add more dimension to the eye, putting black in the pupil. Here I was really kind of struggling because I'm not the great at getting the eye shapes right or even. So I really didn't like how the face turned out the first time, which honestly, this has happened to me every time I've done a doll, is I do one face and I say, nope, it's not good enough. And so I do the other one. And so I just quickly cleaned off the face and the body with my acetone. And acetone is fine on the vinyl, but will melt the body. This is why you don't use pure acetone on a doll body. So that's my bad. I'll have to figure out a way to deal with it. So the way to deal with it, I decided, was to try to sand down the worst of the scarring. Basically what happened is that the rubber melted enough for the cotton of the cotton pad to get stuck in it, and yeah, it just sort of looked like scarring. So I sanded it down a little bit, and then I decided to blush the chest to sort of blend it in a little bit, but I also wasn't super worried about it because, you know, sometimes girls get scars, so it's totally chill. Anyway, so here I am starting again on face number 2. And this time, instead of starting with blushing, I'm starting with figuring out the eye shapes because that is the most difficult part for me. And then I go back in with the blushing, just sort of doing the same thing, adding pinks and browns, darker browns and paler colors to sort of bring out parts of the face, highlight parts of the face, and shadow parts of the face so that it just looks more lively. Oh yeah, so something that I'm trying to do here, you can't really tell because of my hand, but something that I really tried to do on this second attempt at the face was bring out her brow bones. So of course she's bald, she doesn't have hair, which means she doesn't have eyebrows or eyelashes. So instead of drawing on eyebrows, I tried to shade above her eyes in a way that sort of made the brow, where the brow bones would be. She doesn't have brow bones. Her face is pretty flat. But make the brow, where the brow bones would be, sort of pop so that it doesn't look as flat. And then I also went in and did a lot more pencil work on the eyes. I was more patient this time, believe it or not. I was a lot happier with her eye shapes as well. And then, yeah, I gave her the same sort of makeup look. And I also decided with this one to give her more natural looking lips. So yeah, I'm just sort of blushing them with pinks and sort of like natural lip colors to make it look like maybe Max, she's wearing some sort of like tinted lip gloss or something. This is the first Bratz doll I ever worked on. And honestly, it was so much more difficult than I thought. For one thing, her head is so stiff. The other dolls I've worked with, their heads are like really squishy, but not Bratz dolls. They're like super solid. And their facial features are just like molded in a way that really lends himself to one expression. And so I was kind of fighting with that while I was making this doll because I kind of wanted to change her expression. So as you can see here, I gave her an open-mouthed smile because Bratz famously have just super pouty lips. And I wanted her to look a little bit, you know, not super pouty. So I widened her eyes, I opened her mouth to give her a smile. So I'm mixing a light pink paint to do the tear ducts and the waterline of the doll, which really sort of makes her eyes look more realistic. And I'm also painting the eyeshadow so that it's a much brighter color. I really couldn't get it to look as saturated or as pigmented as I wanted it to with just the pastels and the pencils. So that's when you know it's time to bring out the paints and really get it super saturated and super bright. And yeah, I really actually liked how it turned out. And last step is to add the eye shines. Okay, I'm finally back. I wasn't even gone from your perspective, but from my perspective, it's been like 3 weeks. I recently remembered that my sister explicitly requested her doll have freckles. So to finish this up today, I am finally going to give her freckles, gloss up her eyes and lips, do some light repairs on her outfit, and then put it all together and we're almost done. So yeah, I mixed a bunch of paint to do the freckles, like way too much paint. There was no need for this. And then I tested it with a paintbrush, just put it on a stiff paintbrush and I flicked it all over her face and her chest. And whenever I got larger blobs, I would just sort of clean them up with my fingertip or the end of the paintbrush. And then I wiped her eyes and lips so that they were clean. It did take a little bit of the pigment off the lips, but you know, they still look great. And yeah, and then here I am making the shark pin that went missing. I never actually found it. I don't know where it is. But yeah, just drew a little picture, cut it out, laminated it in tape, and then glue it to the hat. And then it's time to dress her up, and we're almost done. Oh my goodness. I was just so excited to dress her up. I've been working on this doll for
forever because I did the outfit over the summer and then I did the face up, and it's taken me so long, but she's finally done. She looks so great. I'm so happy with how she turned out. My sister hasn't come up with a name for her yet, so but if you want to keep updated in case she does get a name, you can follow me on Instagram at Featherfae Customs. And if you enjoyed this, then I'm gonna be making a lot more, hopefully very soon, so give me a follow if you want. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.